Well, hello and Happy New Year. I'm glad that you could join with me today. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what I learned in 2025 about this health journey I've been on since, well, it seems like forever. But this last version of it probably started in 2017. And um, this year was very interesting and transformational for me. And so I thought, as we go into 2026, I wanted to kind of share with you some of the things that I learned in 2025 because they really helped me. But I also hope they'll help you as you go through 2026. Um, you may not know this, but January is also called World Carnivore Month. And if you don't know what that means, is um, that is an opportunity for people to try a completely meat-based diet. Now, stay with me because I know some of you are saying you got to have your fruits and vegetables. But it is an approach that I would like to share with you worked for me. And so, if you've never thought about it, there's a lot of articles and information you can do that. I'm actually going to, at the end of this, talk about one way you can get more information about that system. But it has made a big difference in my quality of life and my health. So, with that being said, I wanted to share with you the 6 things that I learned in 2025. Number one, just because you are losing weight doesn't mean that you have a healthy metabolism. In fact, in my case, I was losing weight, but I was doing real damage to my body. I was harming my body because my body was lacking the nutrients that it needed. And fewer calories that I was taking in. I had actually, some of you may know this, but I had gone to what is called OMAD, 1 meal a day, in an effort to eat fewer calories. And so while I did accomplish that, I was also starving my body. So, yes, there's a way that you can lose weight, but not starve your body. And that really is the place that real metabolic health kicks in. So, at the beginning of January, actually a little before January, I was in a group, a coaching group, um, and they began to tell me that my problem was that I was eating too few calories. Now, for me, that was a shock. This is the guy who, you know, I thought I had a bottomless stomach. And so the idea that someone was telling me I had to eat more calories, to be honest, it was frightening. It was counterintuitive to everything I thought I knew about how to lose weight, that I needed to eat more so that I could lose weight. But there really was a method to it. The issue was that I had continued to restrict my calories, that my metabolism slowed down to match the caloric intake. And the way that it did that was it turned off some systems that were really important. I didn't have as much energy. I was always tired because I wasn't eating enough. And so I needed to trust the process and not overeat, but eat enough calories to meet my nutritional need. And when I did that, I it was the weirdest thing. All of a sudden the energy came back. I felt better. I felt better about myself. And then just reducing a couple hundred calories, the weight came off. And so as intuitive as it is, I ended up eating more calories than when I started at the beginning of the year, eating more calories and losing more weight. I'm now less than I was January of last year. Isn't that something? So, losing weight is not what tells you you're metabolically healthy. If we take care of our metabolism, then the result is that the weight will balance to the place that is healthy for you. Number two, being the right weight is just one measure of metabolic health. Um, and it isn't really the most crucial one. If you're losing weight or you think you're at the right weight, but you have no energy, no fuel for your body, it could either be that you're not eating the right food or enough food. And whatever that weight is, it's not the right weight for you. And so I know there's a hyper, particularly for people who come where I came from, that were morbidly obese, because probably you've been told, like I was told, you're overweight, you're fat, you're sloppy. Um, but there's a right way and a wrong way to lose weight. And that's not to say that when I was morbidly obese, and there were those years in 2017 where I lost 60, 70 pounds, that didn't feel good. It was positive reinforcement, and I probably needed that. But as you get away from being morbidly obese and just being maybe obese or overweight, you probably aren't going to be able to lose massive amounts of weight. And I can remember thinking, excuse me, I can remember thinking that it was going to take me a long time to lose weight. But rather than just thinking about the weight loss, thinking about feeling good and understanding your body, those things, if you do those things, then the weight is a byproduct of being and learning how to treat your body correctly. In that same vein, the third thing that I learned was how important sleep was. I had somebody tell me that there are only 24 hours in a day. You can't invent an extra hour because there's more stuff that you want to do. And so I was always taking away from sleep time, thinking that I had more to do and I could just get fewer and fewer hours. But one of the things I found out was that I could have the right macros, eat the right foods, and step on the scale and find out that I hadn't lost any weight. And in some cases, I actually gained weight. And the reason for that was because I wasn't giving myself enough time for my body to recuperate, to do the things that he did. You know, when you're sleeping, your body is still doing things. It is still um, cleaning up from the day's activities. It's still active and systems need to be engaged. And if you don't sleep, those systems don't happen. And part of those systems is cleaning up the debris if you've taken in fewer calories, so that when you wake up in the morning, you can release those through your urine or bowel movements. But if you're not getting enough sleep, that doesn't happen. And it took me a hard time to realize that. And so sleep was an integral part. And I'm now doing somewhere around 7 hours of sleep. I'm working up to eight. I don't know if I'll actually get there, but monitoring my sleep was one of the goals I had last year, and I'm doing a lot better at it. And I'm also seeing a lot better results in the way that I feel, the energy that I have, and one of the results is that better weight loss. The next thing was that weight loss has very little to do with willpower. I've always thought that the reason that I was heavy or the reason that I was morbidly obese had everything to do with you just can't, you don't know how to put your fork down. That was all about willpower. And really, that's the biggest deception that so many of us have about weight loss, that it's just about willpower. If you were more disciplined, you would lose that weight. And the truth of the matter, as I look back on it, I was hugely disciplined and had a lot of willpower. Some of you guys know before 2017, a number of years ago, I went on a liquid diet for 7 months. Now, this kind of goes to this whole thing that I was talking to about the way you lose weight. I lost over 200 pounds, 7 months without food. But what I didn't learn how to do is when the diet was over, when the liquid diet was over, I never learned how to eat. And what I was being taught about how to eat were the things that really caused me to gain weight. I was told, like many of us were told, that you needed to have a high carbohydrate, low fat diet, and that would result in weight loss. And the truth of the matter, it is. But you know what else it does? It makes you extremely hungry. And I was extremely hungry. And I found out that over time, right, I would end up falling from that parameter and overeating, eating and overeating with the wrong kinds of food, high carbohydrate foods. And so it wasn't until I got away from that. And the carnivore diet for me was one of the ways that I got away from that vicious rat cycle of yo yo dieting, right? You have all your discipline, you're really disciplined for 1, 2, 3, 4 months, 6 months, 7 months, like I did. And then what happens? Because you're not meant to have that kind of discipline day in and day out just to be the right weight. And so on a carnivore diet, what I found out was that I could eat, I could eat and not be pressured, not think about the fact that when was the next time I was going to have a meal because I wasn't hungry. And I learned to begin to listen to my body differently. I confused emotional discomfort, anxiety, and fear. When those feelings would come to me, I used food as a drug. Maybe some of you know what I'm talking about, where food becomes the drug. So you eat so much that you're sedated, that all you want to do is sleep, and it feels like the pain or the anxiety or the fear goes away because you replaced it with being tired, with that satiation, complete satiation. And so I needed to learn the difference between managing my emotions and managing real, true hunger. And one of the ways that I did that was making sure that I was eating foods that really satiated me without eating foods that were bad for me, that were high in carbs, that so when I say high in carbs, what I'm really talking about is all carbs have a cycle. You eat them, and 2 hours later, guess what? You're going to be hungry again. At least that was the story for me. And so, learning to really listen to my body was a really important. That weight loss had very little to do with willpower and more to do with listening to my body. Number five, metabolic health. A metabolically healthy person and a metabolically healthy diet. Oh, that's tongue twister there. Um, isn't a temporary thing. If you diet with the thought that you're going to lose the weight and then go back to eating the way you ate before, you should expect the same result as before, which is what? You're going to gain the weight back. That's why most nutritionists tell us that most people who go on diets fail. The reason they fail is because they were going to be temporary all along. A true diet is something that you can live with for the rest of your life. Since I've been carnivore, people have asked me, well, how long are you going to do that? Well, for me, for the rest of my life. I found something that works, that is sustainable, that is repeatable, that I can do. And I'm not sad about it. I'm not gloomy about it, which is very different than when I did those other diets. Those other diets, all I could think about is, well, when can I get off of my diet so I can go back and eat the things I really like? Your diet should be something that you look forward to, you're eating and you have some enjoyment, but it also gives you the nutrition and the energy that you need so that you can have a good quality of life. If your diet isn't something that allows you to do the things that you want to do now and also allows you to be able to do the things in the future, then you've got the wrong diet. Your diet should be for you now and tomorrow. Now, there are some people that specifically use a carnivore diet as a elimination diet because there is not another type of diet that is as low inflammation as a carnivore diet, specifically eating meat, as a carnivore diet. And so they use that as a way to figure out what are the foods that really bother them. And so they reintroduce them. But it ought to be part of your full plan for life that you're doing it in that manner. If you will do that, you'll find better success. And you'll find a diet that will work for you in the long term. Number six, calories do count, but it's more nuanced than calories in and calories out. Now, this idea and really getting a hold of this was really important for me because many times I was on, quote, diets that were supposedly short term. And I'd step on the scale and I'd have a good day with all of my macros being right, not eating too many calories, and stepping on the scale, and the scale didn't move. And I hadn't lost any weight. And then sometimes I stepped on that same scale and not, I just didn't not lose weight. I actually gained weight. And the reason for that is that the scale is only one barometer of being healthy, of being metabolically healthy. When you step on that scale, you don't know whether or not it's because you lost fat, you lost muscle, or you gained muscle. You don't know if you're just holding on for a little water. If you're a woman, it could just be the time of your cycle. So all of those things play a part. And then hormones play a part in that. So I could eat the right macros, but if I had high cortisol levels, I wasn't able to burn any fat. And so calories do play a part because they give us a point of reference of what we should be eating, but they're not the end all and be all. And just managing calories doesn't mean that you're metabolically healthy or that you're doing your body the right service if you're not putting the right type of foods in your body at the right time for the right purpose. And so, with that, I began to learn that. The other part to that was I thought that I could reduce calories and exercise, and I could kind of figure out how much I'd lose weight because calories in, calories out, if I burn more calories, I should be able to lose more weight. Your body is more nuanced than that. There's more going on. And that's not to say that exercise isn't crucially important. If you want to have an active lifestyle, if you want to have an active lifestyle now and in the future, you need to exercise. You need to weight train. A little cardio wouldn't be bad either. But these are the things that are essential to good metabolic health. And it's not just about burning calories or calories in or calories out. So, those things are the six things that I learned in 2025 that I wanted to share with you. Here's the bonus thing. So, if you're really thinking about this, you really need to find a group. I started with a group called My Zero Carb Life, run by a coach by the name of Kelly Hogan. I started with that group about 3 months before 2025 started, and that support was really important. You need to find a support group. In fact, I'm going to put in the bottom here her link so you can check it out. It's too late to join up for January, but you can join up for February. And I want to encourage you. I'll also put a link about World Carnivore Month Maybe you want to try it. Try it. Try eating just meat. See how it makes you feel. Um, you might find, like I find, that that might be the key to unlocking good metabolic health. You notice I said metabolic health. Yes, weight loss can go along with that, but it's more important that you have the energy and the ability to do what you want to do and develop a good quality of life. That's what's most important. That's what I want for you. That's what I'm striving for. And that's why I wanted to share with you these 6 things that I found that have been really, really successful. So this year, I lost 20 pounds. That doesn't seem like the 67 pounds, but that 20 pounds was 20 pounds that I took off where I ate more, felt better, had better energy, and was able to do the things that I wanted to do because your diet and your way of life should match. And so, with that, I want to thank you for sharing this time. Some of you, because I'm going to share this on our our My Zero Carnivore, My Zero Life group, and so they'll get a chance to see this. But others of you, I'm going to share it on YouTube so you can see it. And comment, tell me about it. Even if you think that, you know what, Sheldon, you're crazy, let's have that dialogue. I'd love to have that. You know that I like to do that. I'm always accused of asking questions. So if you comment, I may come back and ask you a question. Well, it was good talking with you. Happy New Year. Let's make 2026 the best that it can be for you and your family. I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.